Hello and welcome to another episode of the Punters Guide. Thankfully, we have got some racing. Unfortunately, Kempton off, Warwick off. I was looking forward to going up there. I quite like a trip to Warwick races, but we do have some racing at Ffos Las over jumps, Fairyhouse over in Ireland, and then we obviously have some all-weather racing to have a go at from Chelmsford. All-weather, I say, Joel, and Newcastle as well. So we do have some races. We're going to cover 7. Me and Joel have got a shout in most of them. We hopefully are going to steer you in the direction of a winner on what is quite a quiet time of year for racing fans. But not to fear, because if you're missing the big guns, we're back on Monday with our Road to Cheltenham show, talking about all the action from Christmas and the novice chasers and novice hurdlers. Anyway, how you doing, Joel? Where are you? How cold is it? What's going on?
I'm at home, left for work this morning at 20 to 4. It was minus 13. Drove into Manchester this morning at minus 9. Drove back. We've still got minus 11 here. I said to the missus, I live in Chester. Where do I live? Not Chester. What's it called? Cheshire. That's right. See, I'm tired. And I said to the missus, I can't see Ffos Las being on. We're only about half an hour from here. She went, let me put it into where we sat now. 4.5 hours from here. So I forgot how big Wales was.
Geography is.
You know what I mean? So, it's freezing here. It's minging up north. What's it like down south?
It's minging. It's not quite minus 14. Just having a look out the window. It's bleak is the word I would describe it as. It's pretty cold. I'm not miles from Kempton, and I wasn't surprised to see racing off. I was pretty unoptimistic about Ffos Las being on, as were you. But it's great that we have got some racing. And the first race we're going to look at, the 1:15, make sure you pay attention to race times and horse names, obviously, because things have been changing. But these look cement now. The 1:15 is the Towton Novice Chase. Handstands is top of the market. Cherry Dam is around 5-2 second fav. They've been kind of flip-flopping, and St. Davies in third. When I first looked at this, I couldn't understand. They were joint favourite when I first looked at it. Why Handstand wasn't shorter, I guess, because it's the 2.5 mile trip, not the 3 mile trip. What do you reckon, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, I presume there's going to be a lot of jockey changes as well throughout this card if it goes ahead with everything else being off as well. The top jocks will want the money if they're going for the 500 grand prize at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Look, I went for Handstands last night. I think it was third favourite. Obviously, bombed out in the race at Cheltenham that Ballyburn won. Won at Sandown at the start of December. 3.5 lengths beating Resplendent Glory. Resplendent Glory, great, wasn't it? I really liked that one. Pretty much made orders, stayed on well. Fell last time at Wincanton. I watched that race last night once again. Just looked to me like it hated the ground. It was making headway about 4 out, but was beaten at the time. About 6 lengths back in third when it fell there. And I just thought Handstands was a decent thing for me in this. And I was really surprised with the early prices last night, but now has gone into favoritism or joint favoritism at the time we speak. We see the return of Hillcrest as well in this race. It must be the tallest horse that anybody's ever seen in the flesh.
He's a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah, big lad.
He's a big lad. I hope it comes good for him because he had so much early promise. Maybe caught headlines more for his size than his talent, but he is still talented, and it hasn't really happened for him since coming back from injury and going over fences. I agree. I think Handstands is the class act. I mean, Cherry Dam won nicely last time, but she was only beating kind of 130 horses, really. You were at Wells rated 141, but she made a mistake and never really got going. So I don't think that form's that solid. St. Davies been beaten previously by Handstand by 4 lengths. The only thing that'll catch him out, I think, is just the trip. I think he is a 3 miler. This is obviously 2.5. I'm hoping that someone, maybe Lord of Thunder, can go forward and not make it a slow pace that turns into a sprint. That's the only way I see him get caught out. But if it's a truly run race, I think he is the best horse in the race. One to put in your tracker, though. I can't see him winning this, but Super Sam Thomas does like to get them back in a handicap range. I don't think he's good enough to win this. He was on my score sheet for Kempton. I say if he gets well being in this and comes down a touch more, I'd say he's got a handicap in him. So Handstands to win for me, and range just to go in the tracker to have a look at next time out. Right, there's a couple more from Ffos Las I just want to flag up. The 2:58, a 3 mile handicap hurdle. Ross Cahill is that Twiston Davis horse that has that funny action and swings one leg out to the side. He's topping the market with One Big Bang, who I'm not convinced wants to win or has forgotten how to win, because he did win twice last season, but at real short odds and easy races. So you'd be surprised if he didn't. This season, he's come there looking like he's going to go and win, and he just doesn't want to put his head in front. So I've got rid of them both out of the top two in the market. There's an each way shout here. Madaket for Philip Hobbs, who's at a 41% strike rate. Has a good third at Newbury behind Hamino A and Woody Flash. They both got hiked up in the weights and ran nicely last time out. Madaket only has come up £2. I think he's still got a bit in hand with the handicap, but maybe his price is because he pulled up quite quickly at Chepstow last time out. But assuming all is well with him, Madaket at 12s in the 258 Ffos Las, I'd say will give you a run for your money. One more at Ffos Las I want to give a shout to, because he gets a mention on this podcast probably more times than he's given credit, because he hasn't won in a long time. Triple Trade is my new cliff horse. He last won beating Harper's Brook, who probably stopped in front of him, Ascot 2023. Since then, he's come down from 135 to 127. He is handicapped on his best form.
Do you know what? I'm with you on this. I didn't think I don't know much on this, but it's my first page from last night looking at. And Triple Trade, and not to stop you, but to stop you. This was in my tracker, and you know you can make little notes in your tracker. I put a bit Spursy, a bit United now. Doesn't look like he can finish his races off. And it was like needs 2.5 miles. It's 2.4, isn't it? And that's what's flashed me up on my tracker. Bit Spursy.
I mean, look, he last won over 2 miles 3, and since he's been racing over 2, he has been beaten in his last 3 starts, 35 lengths, 21 lengths, and 12 lengths. So, I mean, the gap is closing and his mark is coming down. I just think he's got one last dance in him. I really do. And this probably will be the last time I back him, unless, he gets beaten ahead. But offer 127, Triple Trade, over 2.5, back to his last winning trip. We'll give him a spin. So there's 3 from Ffos Las, 2 at prices, and both of us are quite keen on the Fav in the 115. Moving over to some proper racing, Fairyhouse 145. This is a good little handicap. Sorry, not handicap. Good little handicap. Grade 3 handicap, they call him over there. American Mike, his fall from grace. Can you believe he made his beginner's chase beating Factor File, who's now rated 168, and he's coming in this handicap off of 146. He tops the market. Hunter's Yarns in there for Paul Town and Willie Mullins. Our mate Connor Stone Walsh rides King of PRS for Gavin Cromwell, who's got 3 in the race. Is there a winner to be found here, Joe?
Well, like you said, I mean, it used to be really fashionable, didn't it? Probably 20 years ago, when you'd look at something, an Irish bumper, and you go, that's really going to be a great horse, or an eye catcher from a bumper. It's completely changed now, the way that people are buying horses out point to point. I'll go to France, and I've had one run at Auteuil or something, and paying 800 grand for them. Look, American Mike, second to Facile Vega in that champion bumper in 2022, something like that. 1 win in 2023 at Navan, 1 win in 2024 at Navan, 3rd last time at Fairyhouse. Look, I thought there's
struggled, hasn't he?
Yeah, there's a Gavin Cromwell horse in here. Midnight it is, and it's to be fair, it's quite a big price. And I think Cromwell had a go at this race last year, and it was absolutely smashed. And I think it came about maybe 4th or 5th or something like that. Midnight is won last 2 starts for Fairyhouse and Navan, really easy. Sean Flanagan is a really good jock, but he's not one of those jocks that makes it look like, oh, we only just got there. I mean, he was pretty much out in the air, I've got another 10 stone in hand here. So it looks like he's gone up. Looking at my math here, in those 2 runs, it looks like it's gone up to 132. Up, is that £18?
Yeah.
In just 2 runs. But when you looked at the last race,
12.
12.
Oh, in 2 runs, sorry. Yeah, £20
runs.
in 2 runs.
Yeah. So when you look at it, I don't think it'll stop it. The 3.5 lengths could have won by 30 lengths or whatever. Unless Gavin Cromwell and the team come for this horse late, I thought 15-2 on Friday afternoon was a stupidly big price. And you mentioned Hunter's Yarn. It's greyed out on all of my sites here. So I'm presuming is it a non-runner? Or has it just been backed off the boards? I can't.
As
That's
far
not
as
right.
I can see, he's still running, and with most firms backed into Fav, I think he is still running. And when we first had a look at the races, and we were chatting amongst ourselves as to what racing was off, this was one of those horses where, without looking at the race, I just went Hunter's Yarn. I fancy him,
Yeah.
and I probably should stick to that because I've been making a meal of it, haven't I? When I fancy a horse at the start of the week, and by the time it gets to the off, I pick something else. I fancied him for the Arkle, and if you fancy him for the Arkle, you'd quite like to fancy him for this. He obviously didn't run that well last time out on his reappearance run, but you'd give him that. And
What
Paul
about
Townend
jumping?
takes over again.
What, what
Come
about what
again?
about what about the jumping? Good
Yeah,
enough?
he does throw in a few bad ones. He won by 10 lengths on the bridle under Paul Townend, beating Putter on his beginner's chase. Paul Townend is back on board. Maybe he can rekindle the jumping magic because he was ridden by Darryl Jacob, was it, in the Arkle, and then somebody else last time, Brian Hayes last time out.
Brian Hayes
They haven't
last
got
time.
on so well.
Okay. In the
Um,
Arkle, Daryl
so
Daryl
having said all
Jacob.
that, having said all that, I did go back through and think, he doesn't jump that well. He's got to carry 11 to 12. Like, is this a huge ask for a horse that actually hasn't ever really lived up to his original promise? Because he was once talked about as like a graded horse in a county who's going to win that carrying top weight, and he didn't. Yada yada yada. Anyway, point being, I mentioned Connor Stone Walsh taking off £5 of the King of PRS, who only carries 10 stone 4, and last time out, or the time before, sorry, was a cracking second at Fairyhouse. As previously, last time out was a decent third, only by half a length. Like, he's been getting there in similar sort of races off the same mark, runs well at the track, has done it over course and distance, and gets the £5 claim. He's really hard to ignore. I'm almost bookending the weights. I think I am. Is he bottom weight? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bar one, bottom weight, bar one. So there you are. Hunter's Yarn, without looking at the race, goes and wins. On second thoughts, the King of PRS is carrying nothing and might just scoot round. That's Fairyhouse, only one we're going to look at there. Now we're on to the all-weather. This is where it gets fun, Joel. 2 o'clock, Newcastle. What can you tell me?
Right. I think I've got something in here, and I was tempted to go nap with this.
Okay.
Now, first of all, let me put it out there about Midnight Lion on the hat-trick bid for Paul Mulrennan and Jim Goldie. And Paul Mulrennan's got 2 ways of riding. He has got the Paul Mulrennan of the last couple of weeks when he has been absolutely outstanding. And there's also Paul Rennan when he gets into a little bit of bother. Now, Midnight Lion was switched from Ian Jardine to Jim Goldie in November, won on debut by a head, made all. He was 16 to 1 that day. Then in December, he was ridden by Kai Fraser, if that's right. And he won there as well, pretty much made all by the smallest of margins. He's now off 70, which I don't think should be a problem. However, I'm going for one of these conspiracy theories here. He's got Alpine Sierra in the race as well. Paul Mulrennan has ridden this horse the last twice, and he's also been pulled in by the stewards the last twice. If you have a look at those 2 runs, if there's not a lot of racing on at the weekend, type in Alpine Sierra on Twitter and just have a look at those last 2 runs. That's all I'll say. You make your own mind up. Amy takes over. Amy Waff, I think it is. Is she claiming 5 or 3?
3.
I think she's claiming the 3. This horse has got a ton in hand. And I think they're trying to put us off. If they're clever enough, they're trying to put us off on the hat-trick bid for Midnight Lion or trying for the 1-2. But I think Alpine Sierra, just please go back and watch those last 2 races. And there's the claimer on board. And you look at this and you go, right. Obviously, she's not as good as Paul Mulrennan at its best. But you look at the racing post bit as well. I mean, the excuses, heard a noise, whatever. I would just say, Alpine Sierra in that 2 o'clock, it could be nap material, and it's around 6 to 1 at time of recording, and was 9s last night.
Alpine Sierra. Amy Waff, a great jockey as well.
Yeah, she's good.
Rides well for Jim Goldie. She's a big part of the team there. I like it. I like the way you're thinking. Let's see how it pans out.
I like the way you're
I
thinking.
just want to give it. Could be one. Where's he going? Nobody knows. I'm going to give a small shout to one in the 345 at Newcastle. Same sort of price, around sixes. Kalianassa, who has come there swinging over a mile at Newcastle the last two times under Shea Farmer, who will ride again, and just hasn't quite finished off his races. I just wonder that furlong less, because he's come into his races so sweetly, may just do him the world of good. Shea Farmer has been riding him. He knows him. He knows how he finishes. He'll probably hold on to him for as long as possible. But then when he does get after him, if they haven't got to go another extra furlong, he might be in with a squeak. And hopefully, if you backed him each way at sixes, not too many go past him and he can get in the places. So that's Kalianassa for me in the 345 at Newcastle. Right. No more from Newcastle, Joel. On to Chelmsford.
I've got nothing else from there.
Unless you want to give me anything.
Nothing of
cool.
massive interest.
So, you do surprise me. Chelmsford, two from there. We'll have a look at the 240 and the 315. We might as well start with the 240 Chelmsford. Anything in here? I know that we do agree on one at Chelmsford, and it does come in here, actually. Tell us.
Yeah. I have no prices.
Price. We've got prices now as well. They priced it up. No, they priced it up. Big price. Okay. That's what we like to see.
Hat toss. Give me a price.
Yeah, you're getting double figures.
12s?
You're getting double figures. 12s, 14s. Yeah, about that, yeah.
Okay. I've got no memory nowadays because I lived through the 90s. So I watched the videos back, or the streams, the kids say. 8th at Wolverhampton last time out, beating 4 lengths. Broke well was midfield and tried to make headway, but it wasn't happening and wasn't really knocked about. November 7th, won by a head. Helm Rock was behind it that day. Adam Farrager give it a great ride. And I just thought that there's more to come. There really is more to come. I hate the racing cliches of put a line through the last race, but when the chance had gone or the handbrake wasn't fully off, whatever it was, wasn't knocked about. And I really, really, really like this horse, and I thought it'd be a lot shorter. What's your thinking?
Yeah, I just think he got done for pace last time, and obviously Wolves is pretty tight. He found himself towards the back of the field relatively early on. I think he just had a lot to do turning for home, and over 7 it was a bit quick for him. So back up to a mile off a similar sort of mark, and he's previously won and then come second. I'd say he's in with a massive shout to. Well, he'd be unlucky not to run well again, in my opinion, considering that he's won and then come second off £2 higher and then just been unfortunate. I think he's in with a huge chance. I can't believe his price. We might be wildly wrong. There might be a reason why he's double figure price, but for me, back up to the mile, back to Chelmsford, should not be that big in the market. So that's my shout from Chelmsford. You're going to leave us with a departing gift in the 315, I think, aren't you?
Can you get a price up for We Never Stop? Yeah, We Never Stop.
He's into Fav. We Never Stop into Fav. He probably, I don't know, 11 to 4.
All right. I have no prices here. So some people hate
by the time.
Yeah, so some people hate giving out the 2-2 horses, the Desmond horses that have finished second the last twice. Second by a length at Newcastle on New Year's Day. Tried to make all, but was pestered. And then a deep closer came down and got him there. And then beaten by a big gamble as well on 14th of December. I think it was Charlie Hill's Iberian or something like that. One on British debut, hasn't been seen since. And if you go back to really start of November, Southall, it won by a nose after a gelding operation. It was 40-1 in the morning. Opened at 14-1 and went off 5s. I remember watching this live. So it only won by a nose. And the trainer's representative was pulled in. Now, sometimes I just think, are you stupid, right? So it would have been a case of, so why have you got what's happened to the improvements? And you just say, it's had its balls off or whatever. But the trainer's rep, and it's in the Racing Post, said it was the application of blinkers and first time on the all-weather. Last one off 89 is now 92. I thought that was absolutely fine, and it's won by small distances. So I would be quite really keen on We Never Stop for me in that.
We Never Stop. Interesting. There's one race I'm not going to give a shout for, but I think it's got to be one to keep an eye on. It's just the rematch of Tully Hill and Asian Master in the 218 2 mile and 1 furlong beginners chase over at Fairyhouse. I wouldn't be against Asian Master getting the better of Tully Hill, who jumped left a little bit last time out. I quite like Asian Master as a progressive horse. Tom Costello and his family obviously own it, and he rides it. He's having great fun with it. I'd hope he'd put in a big run. So there's 8 races for you. Can we get a nap? I know it's tricky racing, Joel. It's not what we had planned to talk about, but if there was anything that's going to put some pennies in punters' pockets ahead of hopefully proper racing resuming next week, which horse would it be?
The horse that I've been told for a long time is Dash Gordon. I think the horse watchers only bought it for $4,000 or something like that for speed. It runs tomorrow or Saturday in the 225. And I know Martin Dixon, when I love listening to him, whether it's working with him at Haydock or listening to what he does. I really like how he talks about his horses. He was really, really, really big on Dash Gordon. I think it's gone to Charlie Appleby from What's Your Man French. He's not French, but he's not. Bonjour, my name is Mark Johnson. So it was Dash Gordon in the 225. But I'm
225
really
where?
At Newcastle.
Okay, I couldn't find it. But Dash Gordon, anyway, your punters will be able to
find it. I would say currently it says 225, but it might be the 139 and 30 seconds.
Has been moving around enough, hasn't it? Okay, cool. Dash Gordon for yourself. I am going to give a Hail Mary shout to Triple Trade. This is one last time, last chance saloon. If he doesn't win, then I think it's game over for him. 9-year-old that's probably lost the love of the game, but he might just have won in a winter's day at Ffos Las. One more hurrah every 2.5. That's all from our Punters Guide. Hopefully there's some winners in there. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 as always. And then Monday we'll be back to talk about the big guns, the Constitution Hills of the world, the Galloping Deschamps, who Joel says can't win the Gold Cup. And actually we'll talk about the novice chasers. So your Seginos and your Madgebras and your Ballyburns, what's going to happen to him. That's all from today. Enjoy your weekend, wrap up warm, enjoy the racing from the sofa.